My name's Darren Grasby. This is my Yamaha R1 front engine Mini. Developed it myself and it produces about 140 brake horsepower.
We really couldn't ask for a better car to kick off madness than this totally unique front-engined motorbike-powered Mini. Having run the car with an A-series engine, Darren developed the bike conversion over about 6 months. The R1 is generally regarded as the only bike engine that will fit in the front of a Mini, and getting it to work has been a real test of ingenuity, to the point where this engine has been spun through 180 degrees to get it in. Of course, what's really fun about this Mini is the way it looks, almost exactly like a mild-mannered 1970s runabout, albeit with the odd hint at something a little unusual. Inside, things begin conventionally enough, a nicely colour-coded aftermarket dash, and familiar instrumentation continues the facade of convention. But some serious Kirky race seats hint at something more sinister, backed up by this simple, cable-operated gear change. We're not used to seeing a bike engine in here, and, as already mentioned, the carbs would normally be pointing backwards if the engine hadn't been turned through 180 degrees in order to ease access. A new chain drive now takes power back to a modified Mini LSD, which converts what could have been 6 reverse gears into a more conventional drive system. But let's see how Bill gets on. Wow! Well, this car certainly sounds amazing. Bill certainly looks neat in there. Looks very flat through those fast corners. This is already looking like a really well-sorted car. Although I can't quite understand why Darren's bothered with any sounds in here. That R1 certainly needs no further embellishment. It's just fantastic. Now you can really see Bill hitting the brakes hard for this big stop. And this Mini features tiny Cooper-esque grooved discs up front and alley mini-fin drums out back. They're going to get a severe punishing today. Now the handling is sorted with the help of a Spax coilover damper conversion front and back, allied to a rear anti-roll bar and a familiar selection of front-end upgrades. This is the second big braking point Bill was talking about, and while the 10-inch wheels help with handling, they also limit the size of brakes you can fit behind them. It's one instance where choosing a bigger wheel diameter can have an advantage. Now we're timing the laps as usual and posting the best time of each run. Let's see how Bill's getting on. Bill, what a good car to kick us off.
Yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed that. Fantastic bit of kit. Yeah, just really thrilling.
Now, this is a really innovative thing because, of course, we're used to bike engines in the back of Minis. We've seen that with the Z-Cars packages before.
Yep.
This, I think, is the very first car on the road in the UK with an engine in the front.
And built by private individual. That's going something.
Exactly.
Congratulations to Darren. Yeah, fabulous car. I've really enjoyed it.
It's a mega achievement, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed.
And it's worked pretty well out on the track. It looks, certainly from our perspective, it was working well.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, all of the basics of the car drive very well. Obviously, we're at a racetrack. It super exposes any weaknesses, and in particular, we've got a deal here with the traction on the car. It's not particularly good out of the corners, and that's all to do with the fact we've got a fair bit of body roll. I think that could be addressed, but fundamentally, we need some more droop in the front suspension so that the wheel can come out of the arch, stay in contact with the ground, and keep the traction going. At the moment, you know, you only really need to breathe on the steering, and we're braking traction.
What sort of things can you do to achieve that?
Well, I think two things. One, you control the body roll altogether. So look at a rear-engine roll bar for that. And then it's a simple matter of mechanical droop. At the moment, I don't think the wheel can come far enough out of the arch. So as the car rolls, the wheel wants to fall out of the arch, obviously, but simply can't do because of the length of the spring damper unit. So they need to look at that whole assembly to try and get more droop into it.
So you're then just washing off power through the wheel spinning?
Oh, well, I mean, you just can't get the power on because basically it just flares up. I mean, you'll be able to see that on the film. Yeah, really, really struggles. So basically you're tinkering with the throttle. You're trying to get the throttle on. You're trying to keep the car smooth all the time, so you sort of kind of gather the traction back together again in order to launch it. You know, it's got huge potential, and I mean, if we could sort that factor out, there's seconds to come off the lap time for this car. Yeah, 2-3 seconds to come off it.
Fantastic.
I'm just sitting there waiting for it to sort of regain its composure before I can nail it again.
Does it still feel like a Mini? Because, of course, it's the engine up front. We've still got, I think, the majority of the Mini subframe and that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's got a Mini character about it. Obviously, a very different sound.
Yeah.
And the gear shift's different. So, yes, it's changed fundamentally, but there's still that base character.
Yeah.
We still love it.
Fantastic. What a car to start us off. Onwards and upwards, I think.
Yeah, great.